I'm very happy to do this program. It's going to be a unit by itself, although I'm going to talk about it as a prelude to the Guru Purnima program. The Guru Purnima program syllabus, I have it here, is I'm going to teach you about the astral body, which is a study of your midbrain and also the limbic system, so that you can see the astral body. This is something I'm going to teach about in this session too, for the benefit of everyone who may not be able to do the program. And the rest are like conquest of slow time. So we are all victims of slow time. And that is functionality that we need to activate in the pineal gland. So that will be the third eye. So I will do that. And then also there is what's called particularizing the mantra. You know, we have been using mantras for various results, but the proper way of using it is for an extended period of time and then using it at the subatomic level. So you have to reduce the mind to the subtlest possible level that your human consciousness can hold beyond your mind consciousness. That is what I call as a particularizing the mantra, syllable by syllable, and that will be something that I'll be teaching. And then the yantra, and we have been using the yantra, but we never have a proper understanding of it. It is actually the landing pad for the divine to descend on. Before you have the experience of God, of a particular yantra, he has to descend onto the yantra, that is the landing pad. So these are some of the things that are included in the Guru Purnima program. And for those of you who cannot afford or for whatever reason can't attend the program, and I'm going to do a snapshot of one of the areas that are included, that is included in the Guru Purnima syllabus, and that is about the astral body. So I'll talk about the astral body. Before doing that, I just want to let you know that the importance of the Guru Purnima, which literally means the night of the Guru, the full moon night of the Guru. The full moon brings a lot of special esoteric energy that will awaken both the conscious and the unconscious mind in a very remarkable way. And this particular night is called, which is coming in July, and it always comes in July, or sometimes in August, is very significant because of its positioning in the sky. I'm not going to go into that. And why it is called Guru and Guru Purnima, and why is a Guru important? I will ask the question now. Some days ago, some person asked me a question, and I know that what troubled him. And he wanted to ask the question, why is a Guru needed? Or in other words, since you were talking to me, why do I need you? Can I not read books or meditate on my own and then find what the reality is or what the reality is not? Instead of asking the question in a direct way, he was asking why do we need an outer help. That was the way he posed the question. I knew what was in his mind. So I did answer him the question. You need a guru or a teacher because I didn't want to go in a convoluted way. I wanted to answer the question directly. You need a guru. Otherwise, it is very difficult. I'm not saying that you cannot be enlightened with a guru. You can be, but it will be like groping in darkness, and the guru can give it to you uh, in a second what you cannot get over a lifetime. And in my own experience, this is not the first time that I've been a guru. I've always been a guru as far as I can remember in many, many lifetimes. What matters is the blessings. Even now, I can say that who I can help better and instantaneously and do miracles for them is those who can relate to me uh, at a heart level, at the faith level. Faith belongs to the heart, not to the head. Intellectually, you cannot figure out many of the things. Intellectually, you can figure out, certain uh, realities that unfortunately we think is important more than the unseen reality. We give more importance to the rational, intellectual reality. But what is more important and easier and prudent to have is really the unconscious, untaught intelligence. Whatever can be taught involves time, and it is only going to be limited. But the untaught intelligence, which belongs to the unconscious, belongs to the area of miracles. And we have abandoned it because we have abandoned the midbrain, we have abandoned the pineal gland, and then these belong to the whole brain, where the gurus use primarily these brains parts, which we don't in the contemporary 20th century man, 21st century man use. So if we get to that midbrain and pineal gland and the limbic system and understand more and then use them more and then bring them to functionality, life is much more easier. That is the domain of thought manifestation. And that often is given by a touch. The touch by the guru, the enlightened person. And he can touch you just by his own sight, or he can touch your head, or he can just look at you in a significant way, or you may not know what's happening, that you'll be transformed. So what is necessary is a personal relationship with a guru. Whether it is Jesus or Moses or the Buddha or Guru that you know of, it doesn't have to be one guru, it can be many also, but it's better to have one because otherwise you'll be confused. And that's the reason you have to have one. And if you relate to him in a significant way, in a very sincere, in a faith-based way, then you don't need much. Then you are in the hands of the Guru. That's why in the Indian tradition, Guru is called the creator God, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. My Guru is the creator God, the protector God, and the God who dissolves. And he is that. So the God cannot come directly into this world. Why did God have to send Jesus? Because he cannot come. And why Jesus could have come in his own form, which is a light form, and nobody could see him. Okay. So he has to come in a human form. So Guru is very, very important for spiritual understanding. because it is mostly what is transmitted is untaught intelligence. The transmission of energy is sometimes called the Shakti path, the energy transmission. And no words are uttered at that level. You don't need anything. Just by being in utter faith and surrender, one can learn everything. If you read the New Testament, Jesus kept on saying one thing: believe me, believe me, believe in the one that God has sent. The word believe is repeated many times, and there is a significance to that. Not that Jesus is begging you to believe. By saying the word, repeating it many times, he is instilling a consciousness. I believe, for instance, I believe. If you keep on saying, I believe, I believe, I believe. And in some churches, they have a believers group. So the word believe is a mantra. If we go on saying, everybody has problems with believer faith. I do have that. So what you have to do in order to create that believer faith is that I believe, I believe, I believe. Because this word believe, I just have experimented, and then I have looked at the Bible many times, and I immediately discovered that there is a lot of wisdom in it. That's why the Bible itself is called the Word of God. The Word of God has the power to create things. It is not just like an ordinary word. It may be the word that you use, but also God uses that word. But there is a difference when it is read in the context of the Bible. So I want you to see, to use the word believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. Because the word believe will actually create the belief in you, in God, and also in you. You have to believe in you also. So I believe, I believe, I believe. And then you take a word like, and then the other day I was reading Luke, and Jesus was talking about, don't worry about life. I think somebody took it and put it on an Instagram and gave some instructions. I think it was Gina who did that, Jay Radha. And then what happens when you read that particular one where Jesus talks about, don't worry about life. The raven doesn't worry about going and working for its food. And then as he was reading that, because he was the greatest guru that ever visited this discipline, I could see the power of each word functioning like a mantra. So it came to my mind that I thought I would share with you. They don't worry about food. God provides the food. Okay? And when you read every word by word, that particular passage, and all passages that were spoken by Jesus, you can see the power. And there is a passage where he talks about food, and I don't remember that passage. Maybe I'll do another video on that because it's not the time for me to talk about that, which can be used for weight loss. I'm going to just empirically verify it by asking many people to use it for weight loss. That's when Jesus talks about food is not needed. Food is not everything. Okay? But when you use that word at least 108 times a day, it will become a mantra. And I will come to that in another video for you. So the guru is important, but he can do what the books cannot do, or what you cannot figure out by yourself. And now, what he can do is go beyond the physical, visible reality. For us, the physical, visible, and reality is the only reality. If we cannot see anything, science cannot accept it, unless you have to prove it through an equation or through an experiment. But how can you, you cannot, you cannot find God through experiments. No, because He's beyond every conceptualization that you have. But all concepts are created by the mind, and the mind is logic. So you have to go beyond logic where yes and no mean the same. So it is a very confusing reality to the mind. And the mind is capable of only things that it happens to know and is accustomed to know. I'll give you an example. Now, why are we not able to see our astral body? It's a concept. But we don't see that astral body. What do we see? We want to see only the physical body, the flesh and blood body. In the previous video I did for a few minutes, I told you that the physical body carries the invisible subtle body called the astral body. Now, why are we not seeing that? Because we are not accustomed to see that. Nobody has trained us to do that. So what we have been trained to do is only certain things. Like, how is a child trained, like A, B, C, D, If we are born in another country where they don't speak English, they teach the alphabets belonging to that language, so that that kid only learns that language, not English. The same way, we are trained to, as a humanity as a whole, to look at only the physical reality. When a child is born, it's not the same case. The child is able to do everything that, we lose a tremendous amount of neurons as we grow up. 3 months later, after the birth of the child loses billions of neurons. So we lose the capability of processing omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. All that is not known to us. What is known to us is only the physical body. That is how we have trained our body. So we have trained only the physical body. Look at the physical body and know it. And why do we have to know about the astral body? It's not only knowing about the astral body, it is also sharpening your consciousness. Why do you have to sharpen your consciousness? So that you can really understand what opportunities are out there for you, other than your job and then the money that the job can give you. So why are you completely, focusing on a known reality, your monthly salary? It is because, again, not being able to access the astral body, because it's a subtle body, that opens up you to a number of opportunities that we are missing because we are only trained to look at physical known reality. I have this job and my monthly salary is this, and then my increment is this per year, or maybe some years there are no increment. All these things are reality which we have committed to, which is an unfortunate situation. So by looking at astral body, you can also sharpen your consciousness. You can know things that the physical body allows you to know. Okay, so it's a matter of training your mind, training your consciousness to look at the astral body. So one way of training it, always imagine that there is a body within your body, and which is not flesh and blood body. This is light body, and it looks like it has some, it features like you have, and then you go on looking at it, and then you can do it with a mirror. Keep a mirror and then look at the mirror, and then there are many exercises you can do. See the light body or the astral body, or on your right, on your left, and then and then focus on it for a few minutes, and then go and merge the body into your physical body, and then begin to see into the physical body the existence of a subtle body. And this, you have to keep on doing this, and then the second step would be to always imagine that the physical body is standing by your side. Okay, and then it is accompanying you, and then and begin to believe, believe. I just remember as I am saying that word believe, I remember Oral Roberts. He was a guy who used to heal right and left. And I like him because he explains everything in layman's language. When he was healing a boy, he was saying, this boy I'm going to be able to heal because he believes that I can heal him. And I believe that I can heal him. So the belief is very important. And not only that, I believe, although I don't see Jesus here on my right, I believe that I am hearing him. Go and touch the boy's head. And I believe Jesus. And I believe Jesus will heal. So everything is just belief. That's why it is very important to believe. When you believe, that becomes a reality. When you don't believe it, it is not a reality. Although it may be a reality, but it is not truly reality. Especially subtle physical reality, spiritual reality. So you believe that there is this body that is accompanying you. Now, as you go on doing this over and over and over again, what happens is the time comes that the physical body will be more real than the physical body. The spirit, the astral body is more real than the physical body. And at that time, you can use the astral body to do whatever you want to do, because the physical body is not capable of doing that. So that's why it is important to develop the ability to see the astral body through these exercises, and believing that it is walking with you. It is, even when you are driving, it is by your side. And then, of course, you have to focus attention on the street while on the wheel while you are driving. It is safer to do it when you are at home and then practice it. And when you practice it, it will become real. And the advantage, as I have said, is, there is a saying about healing. Healing, somebody has cancer. Can you heal cancer? Yes. How? In a spiritual sense, you can heal it when you believe in God or Jesus or Krishna, Shiva, whatever you believe. When the belief in the God is more than the belief in cancer. If you believe cancer more than the belief that you have in God, cancer will kill you. So that's the bottom line. The bottom line, the belief should be 100%. You should be completely a basket case when you are doing this practice. Then, when the physical body and the astral body merge, life becomes a lot more easier. Then you will be able to know how to incorporate the two. Then there won't be any more hallucination or imagination. Then the astral body, when the astral body merges with the physical body, then the physical body will have the characteristics of the astral body. There will come a time when science will accept it, and then we don't have to wait until science is going to accept it. It will take a long, long time because science is very, very slow. Because its methodology is not geared to understanding the spirit. Sometimes I always wonder why science is still not looking at life itself, the life energy, because they are not comfortable. If the life energy is not there, if life energy goes out of my body, so I fall dead. I cannot come and sit in front of you and talk on the computer and then talk to you. What is that makes the heart to beat? This is simply a nature and we cannot explain that. So we don't want to go into a realm that is not under our control. But the yogi's primary goal is to understand what is life and how it is consciousness. Consciousness is life. That's why you become unconscious when you are dead. So how consciousness works, how breath works, because breath and consciousness are related, and then when you don't breathe, you die. So what is the relationship between breath and consciousness? So all these things are necessary to understand the astral body. Now, I just want to give you also some more concrete technique, especially for those of you who cannot come to this course and then you want to understand more about the astral body. In order to know about the subtle body, the astral body, you have a mantra. There are many mantras, and I'm going to give you one. So I will explain the whole process during the 4-day workshop. But for you, I will give you just only the mantra which you can use. And it can do a lot, not just only understanding the subtle body, The mantra is a reversal of the mantra Namah Shivaya. You say Shivaya Namah. And where do you say that? Not within the body. You put your attention here, 12 inches above the head, and then go around circular. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Close your eyes and do it. Shivaya Namah. And circulate your hand, your palm in a clockwise direction. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. While you are doing that, visualize your astral body as an aura around your physical body. An aura is a field of light around your physical body above the skin, the total body. You visualize it, and then while you are moving the hand in a clockwise direction while saying the mantra, Shivaya Namah. You say Shivaya Namah, and then hold on, and then say Shivaya Namah. Visualize, then you say Shivaya Namah. Go on doing like that. Keep your eyes closed. Just put your right palm on top of the head without touching the head, roughly about 12 inches above the head, and then rotate your palm over the head. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Visualize. Visualize the subtle body. The subtle body is the aura around you. It's slightly bigger than you. And now, as you are doing this, this body goes into your physical body and merges with it, with the physical body. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Now the physical body, it glows like the astral body, and it picks up the intelligence of the astral body. It doesn't, the physical body doesn't anymore limit your understanding, your knowledge. The astral body being intelligence, it will not allow diseases to stay, ignorance to stay, or anything that is not pleasant and enriching your life. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Namah. Shivaya Nama will allow you to see beyond the visible, beyond the known. So it's a mantra not only for activating your astral body, but also can do a bunch of other things. So I was very keen that I should give it to you as a gift. So keep doing it. And just to remind you, it will also get you beyond your logical thinking. It will also help you to remove the stumbling blocks, the mind blocks, for the mind to conceive the inconceivable. God bless. I want you to, if you can, to come to the program. It's a 4-day program where I'm going to talk about interesting things which I've never done before. The conquest of slow time, which is a matter of the pineal gland functioning, and I will talk about the third eye, and the particleizing of the mantras. So how we can go to the particle levels of the mantra, and also I will talk about the yantra, which is the landing pad, which is the copper plate that you have. So we'll provide you the copper plate during this program. Okay. And that's all I wanted to share with you this morning. God bless.
Namaste, Babaji. You said you would take some questions.
Okay.
So I'm asking people to post them in the chat.
Okay.
A question from Amit. He says, how to gain success in something or defeat illness when you do not have 100% belief? Is there a way to gain belief?
I believe. I believe. I believe. Keep on saying, I believe, I believe, I believe. Then it will instill belief in you. And then, I also suggest that you read the passages in the New Testament where, the New Testament is about 80% non-Jesus, other people saying about what Jesus said. But there are passages where Jesus speaks to these people and they have recorded. And it's all about faith and it's all about the word. So I recommend that you read that. Although it's not in Hebrew, it doesn't matter. It really works. So that's the way you can create faith. And I'm going to talk a lot about Jesus in the coming days. Okay, say the short answer to your question is, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Then if there you can create faith. And then and also some time ago I did teach, maybe a few years ago, a mantra that I got from Venkatrama Siddha, a mantra which is, there will be a video on it, maybe on YouTube. If you go about 5 years ago, it's a Muruga mantra, which is Prachand,
Tripura Samhara.
Satru Samhara Prasanta Skandaya Namaha. It's a long mantra, so I want you to watch that video also.
Yeah, we can post the YouTube video. Another question is the body, the astral body, white?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And is there an amount of time or an iteration of how many times they should do the mantra in this technique?
All the time. You know, the more you do, the more you will get the results quickly. So it depends upon, you know, what you are doing. You know, everybody has to work. So as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. And then two people are asking about the astral body and the dream plane. Are dreams experienced by the astral body?
Not necessarily. The dream is a very complex thing. There are different kinds of dreams, and then, you know, there are prophetic dreams, and then there are mundane dreams, and there are nightmares. So the dream plane is very complex.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned the weight loss.
Yeah, the weight loss is the Luke. You know, you put it out there.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So you want them to do that, the do not worry about your life.
Yeah. So that you put it out, the whole section of Jesus, and it's Luke, I think the Gospel according to Luke. Huh?
Yes.
So there he talks about the food is not important, but you have to use the same words over and over again. You cannot just use your own words.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they should use that passage.
Yeah.
Another question, Dr. Pillai.
Not necessarily the whole passage. It's a long passage. Only the place where she say that food is not important or something. I don't remember that now.
Okay. Okay. Another question, Dr. Pillai, a little confused on the astral body. When you see the astral body outside yourself, if you want health, do you see yourself healthy? Then put the astral body in you?
Yeah, you see the, you see the aura, and the aura, you know, is the outer boundary of the astral body. Okay. The aura is all around you, the outer boundary of the astral body. And then it shrinks and the aura disappears and it merges with your physical body, and the physical body then at that point turns into light. Go now, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaste.